Is Benromach an alternative to Springbank? Today I'm going to taste and review the 10-year-old and see if I think it is. Stay tuned. Thank you guys for coming along today. No doubt you are like me and on the hunt most likely for Springbanks, and when you do find them, they are ridiculously overpriced. So it's been on everyone's lips, and I've seen a few videos myself around what are some Springbank alternatives. And today we are looking at the Benromach 10-year-old. This one is 43% ABV. It is natural colored, but it is likely chill filtered at 43%, and it is in my market about $90, which makes it exceptional value against a 10-year-old Springbank in Australia. If you can find it, you're looking at $250 for a Springbank 10. Benromach is owned by Gordon and MacPhail, who are a very, very good independent bottler. Benromach offers as its unique selling proposition is they're exclusively matured in first fill casks. All right. Benromach 10-year-old on the nose. Oh, it's just intense straight away. The sherry notes are there. There's this sort of, like, you've got the plum note there. There's like oil, right? Notes of sort of bacon in here. Ham notes. You get hay, a bit of that sort of farmyard. If you haven't nosed this before and then it come up to your face and it sort of hits you, you don't sort of expect it. It's like, I would say, like an aggressive nose. Good nose, but for 43%, it's still got a lot of aromas coming off the glass. I can most certainly see why people say this is what can be considered as an alternative to Springbank. There's something funky about it. It's a little bit different, right? And Benromach is a Speyside distillery, and this is not the typical Speyside profile. Like, it's almost like, yeah, workshop grease is there. It's weird. It's not a bad smell. It's cool. There's a lot vying for your attention, right? I can pick up the sherry notes there. And then you've got a little bit of that fruitiness at the top, sort of think pineapple type notes, tropical fruit notes, a little bit of a cola note as well, just a little bit there. And then if I get my nose deeper in the glass, I'm getting more of the, like, barley feels, the maltiness is there too. Let's see now what we get on the palate. Slanjava. It's changing a lot. Trying to unpack it all. It comes on very much like the farming notes. You're getting the maltiness at first as I swirl it around on my palate, and then as I swallow the whiskey, it transitions, and then that the grease kind of workshop machinery type note comes through, and then that started to shift, and then it turns into the peatiness, the smoke comes out, and then it transitions and heads back into the sweetness of the darker fruits and the tropical fruits, and a tiny little bit of the oak influence as well. There's a lot here. It's actually really cool and very impressive for a 10-year-old whiskey. I do see why people talk about their gripe with Benromach bottling this at 43%. When you experience this on the nose and then the palate, and it's really good, and you know it can be great, but it's just stifled that touch. It's just watered down that little bit, and you know, and you're like, why did you guys take from what potentially is incredible at a non-chill filtered and a little bit higher ABV? If you cannot get your hands on a Springbank and you want to experience something similar, or something that has a bit of character and unique notes, this is one to definitely turn to, guys. It's as I say, good value for $90 Australian. One more nose, one more sip, and then we're going to finish with the recommendation on this one. Cheers. More of the sherry notes. There's a lot of layers here. It's actually surprising how much is going on. Like you're getting sweetness, you're getting earthiness, you're getting this fruit-like tropical note. There's a juiciness to the smell, but then you're also met with this industrial machinery workshop type scent, and it's, I've heard people reference this, but you don't find it, or at least I haven't in my experience, on a lot of whiskies. A sweet and greasy and earthy maltiness. It's kind of cool. Let's now go on the finish and see what I think. Cheers. Okay. Second sip, disappointing. It came through. The first sip was really good. Lots of transition, and you were going through a journey of different flavors as it went from one element to another. And it's almost like maybe because it's at a lower ABV, my palate's acclimated to those flavors, and it's a little subdued. It's nice, but it just left me wanting. It didn't hit the peaks that it did on its first initial sip. Left with the sweeter notes now, left with more of that, like a subdued cola note. The peat, the smokiness didn't come through nearly as much as it did on the first sip. I'm left with the hay notes and the greasiness. It's a good whiskey. I think most certainly one that is worth jumping into, but remembering that it is the entry-level offering. You can't really go wrong for $90, right? Knowing what this is and approaching it in the right manner, I do think it does have a place as a potential alternative to Springbank, but doesn't have the same body. Ultimately, it's not a Springbank, right? But if you like that type of whiskey, you'll probably like this one too. I'm going to finish this one off now, guys, and while I finish this, have a look at this other video that I made, and let me know if you like this one. Alright guys, thank you for tuning in. My name is Wade, and you have been with me on McIntyre's Malts. Catch you on the next one.